Well, one story that's stayed with us for the past year is that of Pamodzi Gold. In the latest installment, the liquidators of Pamodzi Gold have initiated the tender process for the disposal of its West Rand operations. Of course, the company was placed in liquidation last October, and its Free State operations were sold to Harmony Gold for 405 million rand. Aurora Empowerment Systems bought Pamodzi's East Rand and Orkney operations, but that group is now battling to come up with all the finance it needs. Joining us to take us through all this is Pamodzi's lead liquidator, that's Enver Motala from SBT Trust. Enver, thanks for coming in this afternoon.
You're welcome, Steve.
Enver, let's start with the West Rand operations. What exactly is for sale here?
Sorry, you mean the East Rand operations?
No, the West Rand operations now, the ones that are going to go onto the tender process.
Oh, there's a mine that belongs to the listed entity Pamodzi Gold Limited, and the joint provisional liquidators have embarked on a bidding process for that. So we have got people that are interested in acquiring that asset. So that process has just started, but it's a very marginal, small mine, nothing compared to the East Rand operations in Orkney.
Of course, you raised about 600 million from Aurora, 400 million from Harmony for the other operations that were sold.
Yeah.
What sort of price tag would you be looking at for the West Rand operations?
It's very difficult to say because it's an open process that we have decided to embark on, and we're obviously doing it on a similar basis as what we did when we did the Harmony deal and the East Rand and Orkney operations with Aurora. But I would imagine that anything between 50 and 60 million would be a fair price for that.
So it is quite small. It's
Yeah.
been on care and maintenance since October 2008.
Absolutely.
What happened to the workers there? Were they all retrenched?
No, the workers were retrenched a long time ago. In fact, even before the provisional liquidation and subsequent final liquidation of Pamodzi Gold Orkney, that's the listed, Pamodzi Gold Limited, that's the listed entity, the workers were already sent off a long time ago.
Of course, with Harmony appears to be running quite smoothly at the moment. That sale has gone through.
Yes.
They've taken control of the President's Stone Mine and the Free State operations.
Yes.
With Aurora, though, there seems to be a bit of an obstacle at this point, and that's raising the finance for that. It's been trying to come up with finance. Can you tell us what the latest is with that?
Yes, if you remember at the time, Stephen, when the JPLs, the Joint Provisional Liquidators, announced the preferred bidder as Aurora, both on the East Rand and the Orkney operations, we did that on the basis of a very credible funding letter that we had received from Aurora's backers. The backers were a company called AM Equity. We are led to understand that AM Equity is part of AM Capital, which is a listed entity on the Malaysian Stock Exchange. We were advised by Standard Bank at the time. We did our investigations on AM Equity, and the person behind AM Equity is a gentleman called Mr. Dato Raja Zainal Alam Shah, who has a very impressive CV. He's been in equity finance for a long time. He's been historically a banker as well. And we were given a letter, a funding letter from AM Equity, and it was on the basis of that funding letter that the JPLs and the secured creditors decided to choose Aurora as the preferred bidder. Unfortunately, what has happened recently is that AM Equity, the funding from AM Equity hasn't come to fruition, so there's been a bit of a hiccup there. We are very strong-minded about that as far as the JPLs are concerned. We have put AM Equity on terms. We have handed the matter over to our lawyers as well. But in the meantime, Aurora have introduced alternate funders to us, and we are busy talking and negotiating to them at this point in time.
Of course, Aurora now says it has some potential American funders.
Yes.
When would you expect to see something coming through from them? And how do you ensure that the same thing doesn't happen that happened with AM Equity?
Well, with AM Equity, what happened actually, I don't think anything really happened in the sense that, the liquidators have to ensure and possibly do anything different. We were given, as I said, a very credible funding letter, and AM Equity were supposed to have issued certain guarantees, and the guarantees were supposed to be issued within a stipulated period of time. That unfortunately didn't happen. Now, we cannot possibly wait and keep this process as open-ended. We obviously need to ensure that there's an alternate funder. I must say that the JPLs and the secured creditors, particularly UniCredit down in Germany, are firmly behind Aurora. They want to see that the Aurora deal is consummated and consummated quickly. As far as the American funders are concerned, yes, they were in the country a few weeks ago. I had extensive meetings with them on behalf of the JPLs, And as you would know from media reports, I also flew down to Munich and had a meeting with them, with the secured creditor UniCredit. UniCredit is very, very satisfied with their credibility. But I must tell you that Aurora are also talking to other funders at the same time.
Yeah, because there have been a mention of Chinese funders potentially also entering the fray.
No, the Chinese funders, that there's been a bit of a confusion. The Chinese funders are not funders at this point in time for Aurora. The Chinese, it's a Chinese consortium that is possibly waiting in the wings. If the deal with Aurora, for whatever reason, is not consummated or finalized, then the Chinese consortium have indicated that they would be interested. We are talking with this Chinese consortium.
So as potential reserve buyers, really?
As potential, yes, as a backup buyer. We did this in consultation with Aurora as well.
Would this be a last resort for you as the liquidator to take it off Aurora and sell it to a reserve buyer?
Absolutely.
And then when would you expect the West Rand sales to be concluded?
Well, the West Rand sales, I think that particular sale, is not going to be too long. We've just entered into negotiations, and we're now going to advertise that extensively. So I would imagine that within the next 2 months we would finalize that. But as I said earlier, that's a very small deal in the bigger scheme of things.